I like this quote here. It says, the law tries to make bad people behave, but the Spirit makes dead people alive.
Ooh, I like that.
That's a big difference, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so I think it's an education problem. People aren't taught, And so even if you're someone like, okay, I'm going to jump off the cliff here. I'm going to take the pallet that's blank. I think that another problem is they just don't know how, speaking of not being taught.
Right.
Because we don't speak on the Spirit. And we don't because of the danger zone. I was actually told one time, because I'm one of these gregarious people, and so I'd get in this pastor's meeting that we had once a month in the little town we were at. And I'd just be like, oh, we should do this and we should do that. And just like, yeah, it's like the 60s love child to the group or whatever. And I hope I still am. I hope I never lose that. But one guy actually had the whatever, to say to me, you're one of those passionate people, aren't you? And I was like, I didn't sure he meant. I took it as a compliment, kind of. But then I was like, he doesn't seem like he's complimenting me, but that feels like a compliment. Yes, I'm a very passionate person. But what he went on to say was that you got to rein that in, son, because that passion will lead to all sorts of sins, And I think, wow, that's the heart of what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Even if it did, I'm going to say something we're going to get a lot of stupid comments about. Not stupid. Not stupid. A lot of comments. I'm sorry I said stupid. We're going to get a lot of comments about because people are passionate. Right. Yeah. But even if being passionate, even trying to pursue the Spirit meant you sinned more, I'd rather do that than be dead. I'm going to say that. I'm not advocating for sin, but I'm advocating for trying to live in the Spirit. And even if you fall on your face and screw up, because here's a little secret, folks, that want to, nope, don't say that. You're gonna cause people to say, I could tell you to follow the law, you would sin. I could tell you to not follow the law, you could sin. I could tell you to live by the Spirit and you'll commit sin. I could tell you to not sin and you'll sin some more. I could tell you to sin all you want and you'd sin as much as if I told you not to sin. This silly thing that we're going to cause people to sin more by, you can't tell people about grace. Here's another one that is really popular. It started in the 60s and is still talked about in churches today. This phrase, that grace message leads to loose living. Praise God! I want to live loosely. I want to live wildly and crazy because God is this awesome God who has this massive palette of beauty and you know what? It's not, again, you can take all that you want. Oh, this guy's a wild and crazy guy. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate the compliment. But I look at it like, I think that was the parable of the talents. I think that's a big part of what God was saying.